chapter, with the last verse was, better to be embraced by a snake, a tiger, or a crocodile than to suffer the agony of associating with persons who worship the various demigods. So, rejection of the unfavorable. So, verse 10. Bhakti bhadaka dosas chaja. Guru Maharaj saying, personal defects that obstruct devotion must be forsaken. Personal defects. Atyahara prayasascha prajalpo niyamagraha jana sangascha laulyancha shadvir bhakti vinashyati. And this is by Sri Rupa Goswami, Sri Rupa Padanam, Sri Rupa Goswami. And rather than just a translation of that verse of Rupa Goswami, Guru Maharaj is quoting a Bengali verse by Sri Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur. And it's quite a long verse, which I think I'll skip the Bengali. So referring to the sloka of personal defects that obstruct devotion must be forsaken. Number one, for over-acquisition, one whose mind does always run, avaricious non-devotee, he should thus be known. So over-acquisition, over-collecting, whatever that may be. 2. One who hankers to exploit some object mundane, non-devotee, over-endeavourer, as such he is known. So over-acquisition was 1. 2. Exploiting... yes. 3. One whose tongue speaks all but holy talks of Krishna, he is just a gossiper of insignificant banter. Prajalpa. 4. Apathetic to devotion, skilled in exploitation, so wretched, proud usurper of the higher devotee's position. So exploitation with apathy for anything concerned with devotion. 5. Associates with all except Lord Krishna's pure devotees, a mundane socializer in the mud of fleeting fancies. Hare Krishna. A mundane socializer in the mud of fleeting fancies. And the last one is number 6. One who wanders hither and thither for his own selfish plan. Fickle-minded non-devotee is known such a man. In these 6 ways, never fit to render pure devotion, bereft of love divine, fallen materialistic person. So Gurudev would say we're always caught between hope and hopelessness. Sometimes we'll hear something that makes us very hopeful of the mercy of the Vaishnavas and the mercy of the devotees who are extending themselves to us to try to lift us out of our lamentable condition. And then other times we're feeling hopeless when we, through the mercy of our Gurudev, through the mercy of the Vaishnavas, we get a glimpse of our actual condition. And we think, You know, all these verses like this, they are describing me exactly. How can I, what is my position? How can I go on? Okay, we'll move to the next verse, number 11. Yosit sangasya pratikulyam. The severe adversity of female companionship. Nishkinchanasya bhagavad bhajanon mukasya param jigamisho bhava sagarasya sandashanam vishainam atayositancha hahanta hanta vishya bhakshanato pyasado. And that's Tas Chaitanya Chandrasya, the Supreme Lord Sri Chaitanya Chandra. Alas, for a renunciate who desires to completely cross over the ocean of mundanity and engage in the divine loving service of the Supreme, to ogle a materialist and a woman is more wicked than drinking poison. So Kanak, Kamini and Pratishta were warned about. And Kanak is the energy or the money to exploit, that enables us to exploit. And Kamini, I like where Guru Maharaj translates Kamini as the objects of sense gratification, the objects of sense. So perhaps when the world was simpler, for a man it was a woman, for a woman it was a man, but now in the Kali Yuga everything is so messed up, it's not so easy even to say that. So yes, Kamini is the objects of sense exploitation, and Pratishta, actually this means establishment, actually, to establish ourselves. Yes, I think once this particular set of circumstances is adjusted, then I can make my stand here. I'm going to be okay here. This is where I can, exist happily.
A fort for the ego.
A fort for the ego. Is that Guru Maharaj? A fort for the ego? That's really good.
Durga.
I like that. A fort for the ego. Yes. Established. Whereas the reality is that the flow of surrender is constantly moving, and is constantly demanding that those previous notions of how things should be or how I should go is it's constantly undermined. That rug is constantly pulled out for that free flow to occur. And of course Srila Gurudev was very expert at rug pulling according to each devotee's particular attachment, or and that could be for many things. In the lower stages that might be for some gross thing, but as time goes on, then it becomes for subtler things or religious things, so-called spiritual things, and we have some idea of how that should move, which is also just based on our own misconception and madness, our own madness. So Gurudev, Srila Govinda Maharaj would also have to try and take some scalpel to those ideas, so that we could actually become free of them, and enter into that ultimate freedom. It's freedom, but to us it feels like because of our suspicion and our fear and so many things, we want to establish ourselves in a temporary, hopeless place. So Mahaprabhu is just laying it down very strongly that ogle, I don't know which of the, I can see Vishai sense enjoyer in there. To ogle a materialist and a woman is more wicked than drinking poison.
In America called Ugo.
Oh yeah? Oh yeah? Ugle.
Yeah, I don't know.
Ogle, oogle, yes. To be mesmerized by, to focus our attention, really. It's all about intent, it's all about that attention and where it goes. And as much as possible, we're trying to give our attention to our service and to those things, those favorable things, those things that are favorable. So it might not be directly reading the scripture or chanting Hare Krishna, but those things that are conducive to our devotional life, and to reject those things that may even be, sattvic things or, apparently good things, but that aren't. But here he's addressing that most basic, that strongest binding to the plane of misconception. And if we're ogling that or putting our attention there, then it's, Atmagati Hoilo, sings Lochan Das Thakur. It's like committing spiritual suicide. And it's just a product of conditioning and foolishness and helplessness in the face of Devidiyesha Gunamayi, Mama Maya Duratyaya. It's an cannot be crossed by our own endeavor. This Maya, the Lord's Maya, the Lord's own illusory energy. But through surrender, then that ocean becomes nothing more than the water in the hoof print of a calf. It becomes a small thing. So that's why every day, continually, we're singing the songs of the Bhaktivinoda Thakur, of Narottam Das Thakur, Lochan Das Thakur, which are calling and begging for this beautiful divine substance of Sharanagati, this ability to just give it up. It's everything. All our movements are based on calculation, some calculation, a nasty calculative mentality of how's this going to work out for me, and how can I what's it called, grandisement and I don't know what the word means. How can I come out ahead? Calculation, aggrandizement, that's the one. How can I come out ahead? And it just has no place in that plane where we want to go. You can't. It doesn't work. It doesn't work there. It doesn't work there. That divine plane has its own tune and its own dance, and the Vrindavana Natavada, the greatest dancer. We have to follow his lead. He's the leader in that dance. So we're being strongly, Mahaprabhu is that same naughty, mischievous and playful Supreme Lord, but he's now in the mood and heart of a devotee, of the greatest devotee, of his own better half, Srimati Radharani's. So he's in the position of a sannyasi. So his job is to lay it down as it is without sugarcoating too much. As Lochan Das Thakur is also something like that. When we sing his songs, he also doesn't sugarcoat too much. He says it like it is. You know, it's like spiritual suicide. I've wasted my life and now I'm old and gonna die. Hare Krishna, I'm praying, trying to ignite some desperation, some lyolyam, some real hankering as being the prime necessity. Just want it. If we want it badly enough and develop that hankering, then Gurudev would very sweetly say, then it must will come to you. It must will come to you. He gave us such hope there. It must will come to you. So every day we're singing those songs and working our way through that songbook, the songs of Sharanagati, of Bhaktivinoda Thakur, and all the other great devotees, to try and slap ourselves a little bit around the head and cultivate something of that desperation, that word bereft. I have nothing, I possess nothing good. My own tendency is just to run downhill as fast as possible. But our gurus, are extending a hand to us, extending everything to us, and saying, yes, this feeling is actually accurate and is a healthy feeling if it can motivate us. It can motivate us to try to surrender. Then that feeling of bereftness will actually be a great positive thing. The negative attracting the positive. Hare Krishna. So, okay, let's go to. We'll do one more. Shall we do one more? Shall we move to? Maybe we should move to Chaitanya Charitamrita. Okay, so tomorrow we'll be on number 12 in the Prapana Jivanamrita. Jai Srila Guru Maharaj ki Jai. Beautiful. Jaya Jaya Sri Chaitanya Jaya Nityananda Jaya Dvaita Chandra Jaya Gaura Bhaktavinda Jaya Jaya Sri Chaitanya Jaya Nityananda Jaya Dvaita Chandra Jaya Gaura Bhaktavinda. Okay, so we're in the Adi Leela of Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita of Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami, and chapter 3. Okay. So we're just at the beginning of the book, basically, and we're hearing who is this Mahaprabhu and what will he do, and Pratama Lilaya Tare Vishwam Bharanam Bhakti Rasa Bharilaya Darila Bhutagram. So we hear Vishvambaranam. In his early pastimes, he is known as Vishvambara because he floods the world with the nectar of devotion and thus saves the living beings. He is known as Vishvambara because he floods the world with the nectar of devotion and thus saves the living beings. Dubrin datura ata poshana dharana pushila dharila prema dia tribhuvana. The verbal root dubrin, which is the root of the word Vishvambara, indicates nourishing and maintaining. He, Lord Chaitanya, nourishes and maintains the three worlds, distributing love of God. Shesha Lilaya Dhare Nama Shri Krishna Chaitanya Shri Krishna Janaya Sabha Vishva Kaila Dhanya. In his later pastimes, he is known as Lord Shri Krishna Chaitanya. He blesses the whole world by teaching about the name and fame of Lord Krishna. Srila Prabhupada says in the purport, Lord Chaitanya remained a householder only until his 24th year had passed. Then he entered the renounced order and remained manifest in this material world until his 48th year. Therefore, Sheshalila, which that verse begins with, Sheshalilaya, in his final pastimes. Therefore, Sheshalila, or the final portion of his activities, lasted 24 years.
Those yellow things were my first reading.
Oh yes, I was wondering.
Yeah,
Okay.
I saw it was important at that time.
Oh, wonderful. Yeah, I always like to see that in any book when somebody's.
Finally, you realize that everything's important.
Yes, it's like. Have you seen Sri Leka's songbook? She's got little markers on every single page of it.
Right, page markers. Right?
Yes, it's like you might as well just use the book. Some so-called Vaishnavas say that the renounced order of life is not accepted in the Vaishnava Sampradaya or disciplic succession from Lord Chaitanya. This is not a very intelligent proposition. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu took the sannyas order from Sripad Keshavananda, who belonged to the Shankara sect, which approves of only 10 names for sannyasis. Long before the advent of Sripad Shankaracharya, however, the sannyas order existed in the Vaishnava line of Vishnu Swami. In the Vishnu Swami Sampradaya, there are 10 different kinds of sannyas names and 108 different names for sannyasis who accept the Tridanda, the triple staff of sannyas. This is approved by the Vedic rules. Therefore, Vaishnava sannyas was existent even before the appearance of Shankaracharya. Although those who know nothing about Vaishnava sannyas unnecessarily declare that there is no sannyas in the Vaishnava Sampradaya. So Mahaprabhu accepted sannyas for his own purpose and and we still see that now actually, even in Western countries, but especially in India, that with the sannyas cloth comes a seriousness and a respect where people will listen and give more attention to that. I guess that's ultimately the number one reason for that, for preaching, is that the sannyasis someone will listen more carefully when a sannyasi is speaking, giving some class, or and Mahaprabhu's reasoning was pretty similar to that, really. He was the local boy in his local town, and just the way the material energy works. Of course, it's all play, but nevertheless, the way the material energy works is that familiarity breeds a certain amount of, well, the phrase is contempt, isn't it? And it brings that about. So to nip that in the bud, Mahaprabhu accepted the robes of a sannyasi, to the absolute devastation and horror of all his beloved friends and devotees. Was a devastating blow, as they felt they were losing the love of their lives, going away and cutting his hair and, doing all these terrible austerities. So Mahaprabhu showing that, and then at the same time, we know that the soul, these designations are also not the ultimate thing. They have their place in the running of the world and the running of the way devotion is propagated. They have their place, but really, we're not Brahmins and Kshatriyas and Sudras and Vaishyas, neither are we sannyasis or vanaprasthas or grihasthas and brahmacharis. We are the servant of the servant of the servant. We are hope of the Lord's servant. We are aspiring servants, and that is our constitutional position. And we are family as well. We felt that very strongly, and we still feel that in our home, under the lotus feet of our guardians, the family of Srila Prabhupada, the family of Srila Gurudev, the family of Srila Govinda Maharaj, and now the family of our Acharya Vrinda. And we're so fortunate, actually, to be in that kind of environment, that really we are a family, and we aspire to really be a family, to look after each other like a family, and to forgive faults like we do in a family, and to nurture each other like a family. Not to become some cold, institutional robot, or to fall into that. And that's not why people come, and it's certainly why people go. This is our whole conception. It's personal, so we have to be personal. So anyway, Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami is saying in his early pastimes his name is Vishwambar, and that's because he's nourishing everybody, flooding the world with devotion. And then later on he's known as Lord Sri Krishna Chaitanya, who blesses the whole world by teaching about the name and fame of Lord Krishna as he travels for many years. The length and breadth of India, we don't even know the extent really of his travels. Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami says that, I'm just recording what I know and what we can, but actually the glories of Mahaprabhu are unlimited and can't be just contained so easily. Tana Yugavatara Jani Garga Mahashai Krishnara Nama Karana Kariyache Ninai. Knowing him, Lord Chaitanya, to be the incarnation for the Kali Yuga, Garga Muni, Garga Mahashai, during the naming ceremony of Krishna, predicted his appearance. And there's so many wonderful. I know when I first came, they were some of the, small things in one way, but quite amazing things in another, the way these things had been written about thousands or millions of years before, like like Lord Buddha being written about, before he ever appeared. Garga Muni talking about Lord Chaitanya. I don't know, it just touched me. I thought, wow, that's really far out, fantastic.
Imprinted on the universe or something.
Right. Yeah. And we know anyway from the perhaps Shanta Maharaj or Muni Maharaj could say more easily, but we know how, time is not what we think it to be in our conditioned state, and the scientists are beginning to scratch at that now and realize it's something different. And so similarly, thanks to you, in that eternal world, everything is turned upside down, and everything we know is wrong. It's misconceived. Jai Srila Bhakti Sundar Govinda Dev Goswami Maharaj. Jai. So here we're going to the Srimad Bhagavatam. Jai Srila Bhakti Nasi Maharaj Ki Jai. So the next verse is from Srimad Bhagavatam, of which, how many was it? I think there's over 1,000. I think I heard Goswami say there's over 1,000 shlokas from Bhagavatam. Oh, is it?
Well,
more than that. Anyway, there's many. Ashanvanastrayo yasya grinato nuyugam tanu shukla raktastata pita idanim Krishna tamgata. This boy Krishna has three other colors, white, red and yellow, as he appears in different ages. Now he has appeared in a transcendental blackish color. Shukla Rakta Pitavana Etina Juti Satya Treta Kali Kale Dharena Sripati. So we can pretty much mention in the colors, white, red and yellow. These are the three bodily lustres that the Lord, the husband of the goddess of fortune, assumes in the ages of Satya, Treta and Kali respectively.
So I forget, is yellow Pitta or Pita?
Oh, let's have a look. Pita. Yes, Pita.
So Pitta is father, Pita is yellow.
Acha, okay.
It's hard to remember, they're just completely different letters,
Yes,
right?
yes, it's a long A. Pita, one. Pita. Okay. Idanim dvaparetino haila krishnavana esaba shastra gama puranera marma. Marma, the core. Now in the Dvarpa Yuga, the Lord had descended in a blackish hue. This is the essence of the statements in the Puranas and other Vedic literatures with reference to the context. Dvapare Bhagavan Shama Pita Vasa Nijayudaha Srivatsadibe Ainkascha Lokshanai Upalakshitaha. In the Dvapa Yuga, the personality of Godhead appears in a blackish hue. He is dressed in yellow. He holds his own weapons, and he is decorated with the Kaustubha jewel and the marks of Srivatsa. This is how his symptoms are described. This is a verse from Srimad Bhagavatam spoken by Saint Karabhajana, one of the 9 royal mystics who explained to King Nimi the different features of the Lord in different ages.
What's the verse number? Where's it from?
It's from the 11th canto of Bhagavatam, 5th chapter, 27th verse. In the Dvapa Yuga, the personality of Godhead appears in a blackish hue. He's dressed in yellow, holding his weapons, decorated with the Kaustubha jewel and the marks of Srivatsa. Kali Yuga Yuga Dhamma Namara Prachara Tattilagi Pitavana Chaitanya Avatara. The religious practice for the age of Kali is to broadcast the glories of the holy name. Only for this purpose has the Lord, in a yellow color, descended as Lord Chaitanya. Srila Prabhupada says, in this age of Kali, the practical system of religion for everyone is the chanting of the name of Godhead. This was introduced in this age by Lord Chaitanya. Bhakti Yoga actually begins with the chanting of the holy name, as confirmed by Madhvacharya in his commentary on the Mundaka Upanishad.
Wow.
He quotes this verse from the Narayana Samhita. The verse is, in the Dvarpa Yuga, people should worship Lord Vishnu only by the regulative principles of the Narada Pancharatra and other such authorized books. In the age of Kali, however, people should simply chant the holy names of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. The Hare Krishna mantra is specifically mentioned in many Upanishads, such as the Kali Santarana Upanishad, where it is said, after searching through all the Vedic literature, one cannot find a method of religion more sublime for this age than the chanting of Hare Krishna. That's a nice one, so that one's been highlighted there. So now we're feeling some little hopeful again. That this, we are practicing. Our gurus gave us this mantra, this Maha mantra, and it's quite. Those of us who initiated know that the weight of that experience when those beads are put into one's hands and Gurudev saying, this mantra was given to me by my Guru. He told me to distribute it, and I think you are a sincere person and I am giving it to you. And it's literally descending into our hands as those beads come down, and into our hearts as Sri Guru gives that mantra. And then we are instructed to practice the chanting of that mantra on our beads and in our kirtan, and wherever possible, to try to take shelter of that, of Sri Harinam. We were singing that yesterday. We sang the song of Bhaktivinoda Thakur from the Shikshastakam of the glories of the holy name, O grand festival of Gokul. You are condensed cognizance and bliss. You definitely destroy the multitude of afflictions and pains and sorrows, and you definitely destroy them. And Mahaprabhu says when he's teaching us, but my misfortune is that I have no attraction to that. I have no taste for that. Mahaprabhu expressing the heart of a devotee. Expressing the heart of a devotee. Everything has been given, but my lamentable position is I have no taste for it. Which is why we're singing our songs and why we're trying to pray like that. Yes, this is me and this is my position, and I have absolutely nothing. Only the depth of my calling out to you is what I have, actually. So the glories of the holy name, Mahaprabhu is distributing left, right, centre, north, south, east, west, without any, for us, you can say, for the denizens of the Kali Yuga, unqualified, rubbish brains, rubbish this, everything, no qualities, and Mahaprabhu, Nityananda, specifically, giving freely, giving freely, giving freely. So we are singing the names of Nitai Gauranga, Nitai Gauranga, Nitai Gauranga with the sincerity we can muster to pray to them. Please give me a taste for this holy name. Let me chant your holy names. Let me glorify you. Let me take part in this great Sankirtan of Mahaprabhu.
Prabhu, I have a question.
Yes, Maharaj.
We're discussing how the holy name descends to us through Sri Guru. And without Sri Guru, we can't have the holy name. And then we hear that we have to understand through Guru, Sadhu and Shastra. But it seems to me like you can't understand what is Sadhu or what is Shastra without Guru. So it appears as though they have, like from a rational position, equal standing, but yet from a devotional position, it seems everything is dependent on Sri Guru. So how do we clarify that? Because I I'm kind of in discussion with someone who's saying that they're equal, and he's going to other scriptures that are not authorized by our Guru, and I'm saying you can't get anything from those without the descent of the Guru's mercy. But I need to like verify that. I mean, Sri Guru Charana Padma Kevala Bhakti Sada. What more can you say, I guess? But
right.
If you can do anything else, yeah.
Well, I can try and express what my understanding, but then you need to be able to back everything up. It's like, well, yeah, I mean, like that line you quoted, that, you know, for us, the sadhu, the saint, the guru is everything, and the shastras themselves are the heart expression of the sadhu. But they're also inaccessible and ununderstandable by a conditioned brain without the shelter and guidance of the source of those shastra. I mean, we see all over the world different scriptures being used to justify the most appalling things, because it says it here, you know, because it says it there. It's when we first become interested and we first hear something and we're beginning to associate with devotees, and we're moving perhaps toward to praying for some guidance, praying for a guru, praying for a connection, then I think that time Supersoul, I think Paramatma is, and our previous Sukriti guides us and protects us to bring us into the association of a Vaishnava. But I think at that rebirth, or that new life, and that beginning of a new chapter that happens at initiation, all that previous stuff is kind of put to one side, and now all that counts is to serve and to move under the guidance of that devotee. So we know that, and we hear from the Shastra that, is it service, is it, you know, is read it, you know, if it's under the guidance and under the shelter of Sri Guru, then reading the Shastra is service. Otherwise, we're not, you know, it may be pious activity, it may be something else. And the opportunity to misinterpret is unlimited to get it wrong. Well, it says here this. Well, it's, I mean, we see around these endless
philosophies, right?
Arguments and and then you have to get a special committee to look at it, and they say one thing, and then somebody comes against that, and they have 1,000 shlokas to back up their position. You know, and we know argument will never resolve anything. Only who's the best arguer and who can, you know, triumph in that world of one-upmanship, basically.
Yeah, we know that from Mahaprabhu's early pastimes, right?
Right, yeah, and he would play with that, wouldn't he? He would play with that and defeat you, and then take your position and defeat himself, and then again, endless. So,
it's just popped in my head, like by the grace of Krishna, one gets Guru. By the grace of Guru, one gets Krishna. Perhaps by the grace of Sadhu and Shastra, one gets Guru. By the grace of Guru, one gets Sadhu and Shastra. Yes,
I like that.
Something like that.
Yes, especially, particularly, as the movement, the sweet absolute reality, the beautiful, is dynamic and moving and cannot be contained. I mean, Bhaktivinoda Thakur comes out with some really like powerful and the illusion and the sectarian party spirit that leads one to believe that the supreme absolute truth exists nowhere but my old religious book or my interpretation of that. And the sadhu, the guru, the Vaishnava brings it alive, and it brings it into the dynamic reality that is moving. So there's times and places. Sometimes, we may be more part of our life or circumstances. We may be more taking shelter of Shastra. Other times less. If we're very busy and we don't have time to do that, then we're simply doing our duties. But the Vaishnava is. The Bhagavad Gita had existed in English for a long time before Srila Prabhupada came. It wasn't that the Gita hadn't been translated, it wasn't there, but it was the power of the devotee that changed everybody's lives and, made people just give up everything and sleep on the floor and share kurtas and take a cold shower and be out for 60, that was the devotee, and him giving Gita and sharing Bhagavad Gita and the Shastra from his own heart. Then it became surcharged. So with all bowing our heads to the writings and the heart of the saints, and all the substantial, all the Vaishnavas warn us about that as well. It's not that they haven't said anything on the matter. They've all said on the matter to move under the guidance, of a devotee. We need good advice, and we need protection, and we need a teacher, and we need all these things. And they all say that. Not just to go blindly, fools rushing in where they don't really know what they're doing, and then using their conditioned mind to come up with something on the basis of that.
Tomara Karuna Sara. Remember that. Your mercy is everything.
Everything. Tomara.
So what does that mean? It means it really does mean it's everything. Right. It's Shastra, it's Sadhu, it's everything.
Right. And it's slightly going off the point, I think, but I mean, and ultimately, Jnana Shunya Bhakti is exactly that. All those Shastras are there to awaken something within us. That's not so, that is alive and moving. But you'd need, for actual shastric references, we'd need Chagi Maharaj or someone, Goswami Maharaj, who could give the actual. But I'm sure that's the that's the conclusion. Yeah. That Gurudev is, make the words with of Shri Guru one with your heart. And if he's saying, yes, go and read this, and then everything's wonderful.
Maybe you can tell him Maharaj's email address if you have it.
I think I've got it somewhere, yes. Because he'd definitely be able to point you at the exact places where you can say. But again, if somebody is not wanting to be convinced, it doesn't matter how many.
Right, they'll come up with
something else.
It's really unfortunate, right? You try to break through.
Yes.
You really want to, but somehow or other, it's just not possible. It's not within our own capacity necessarily. I mean, we can try to transfer what our Guru has given us.
Yes.
But if the heart isn't open, you know, you can't do it. You want to try to pry it open or something, but it doesn't work.
Right. Yes. Yeah, that's another quality or qualification of Sri Guru, is that he has that capacity to blast it open, you know. And also, you know, not necessarily always. Some people can't hear for whatever reason. They came and can't hear that, can't hear the message of the Vaishnavas. So we're praying continually that we're able to do that, because we know this divine Maya can throw you and can cover you without without it, as if nothing, thrown away, covered over, without even batting an eyelid. So we're trying to hang on, sing these beautiful songs. Please grab me by the hair and pull me out, O Vaishnav Thakur. He's praying, Narottam's praying to the Vaishnava, to Thakur. He can pull me out from this. You have that capacity to do that. Otherwise, I'm just supata vipata nahi jani. I don't know the good way and I don't know the bad way. And that extends to like which shastra I'm going to, decide this week I'm going to use as my as my justification or my explanation. So it extends everywhere. But so from hopelessness, we're always caught between hopelessness and hopefulness. When we look at ourselves, we feel very hopeless. But then we look at Gurudev and Nityananda Prabhu, Mahaprabhu, and the devotees, then we feel hope. Yes, they are holding me, and they are carrying me, and they are tolerating me, and they are giving me inspiration that, yes, well, I have no other choice. I have no other choice to go on, and there is no easy comfort life to be had anyway. That's just not, it's illusion. It's pratishta. I think I can just mix it up a bit and then it'll all be great. No, it won't. We'll still be suffering in this material world. So we've been given that. We've been given everything, and we're sitting here in this beautiful temple in London that so many devotees worked so hard to fulfill Gurudev's desire that it would come, and now here it is. And tomorrow Bhakti Lalita Devi Dasi is coming, and Vishaka Devi Dasi, and later Janad Maharaj will come, and now Nyasi Maharaj is here. So many wonderful devotees from all around the world come through London here, and in Green Street, our other beautiful temple in London, and it's just amazing that we've been given such an opportunity to practice. This is what we're doing. We're practicing. We're just practicing. We're not very good at it, but we're praying that we're allowed to continue to practice in this life and in future lives. Please let me practice this in the association of the devotees, and try one day. And we know how hard it is, because Saraswati Thakur said, all my life I've been trying to offer just one flower to that upper world, but I don't know if it was accepted. That's his expression. What to speak of us? But we're trying to do that, and our Gurudevs are very merciful, and they do accept, and they are very happy, and we've seen that. Gurudev being happy for this or for that, whatever it was. So they are really the ocean of mercy, the ocean of compassion, the ocean of sweetness. That is our Guru Varga.
Prabhu, I got to ask or say one more thing.
Yes, please. No, it's good.
Srila Gurudev said that, he was asked why it is that people get diverted and stuff like that to these, different interpretations that are actually bogus. They said that they don't have sufficient sukriti. So I'm thinking, agyata sukriti and gyata sukriti. We're getting, even if we don't get, deep heart transformation by, exposing ourselves to Shastra and holy name and deity worship, will at least get Vyakta Sukriti, which will enable us to continue. Is that right?
Yeah, I think so, Maharaj. I think so. It's, Krishna says there's no loss or diminution in this, even if you don't achieve the desired goal, and if the attempt is never lost, and Gurudev is helping us all the time, is there, and we know that this is we're moving in the infinite. And these lives that seem so, and these bodies that seem so central and important and big to us now, are coming and going like so quickly. This life is like a drop of water on a lotus petal, and that connection is it's inconceivable. How did that come? And it came because of Mahaprabhu, actually, because Nityananda, who came for us. This is our hopefulness.
Somehow it's still in the atmosphere, right?
Who's saying that? It's in Prapana Jivanamrita. You are the most merciful, and I am the most qualified recipient for that mercy, because you are Patita Pavana. And if you want a simple wretch, then here I am. This is my demand. You could say, this is my request. So in that sense, we're qualified to come under the shelter of Nityananda Prabhu and Gurudev, who is Nityananda Prabhu's Shakti, or sweetness coming for us. And we're doing that. We're bowing down to the deity. We're bowing down to the devotees. We're these things that are actually all auspicious and all merciful, and although our own motivation is contaminated, still they are very merciful. And Gurudev said, yes, you stay, keep trying, and it must will come to you, giving us great hope. So we're bowing down at their lotus feet. Because of them we have this Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita. Because of Srila Prabhupada, we're able to sit here and hear these words, and because of Gurudev's desire, we're able, and the service of yourself and other devotees, we're able to sit in this beautiful temple, and our fortune is unlimited fortune. So we're just trying to utilize that. I know Gurudev would always stress that. Utilize your fortune. Try to do the best you can. We know you're fallen and conditioned. That's not unknown. That is this whole plane of existence. That's what it's about, and we are fully, caught up in that. But the Vaishnavas have come to take us out, and we're confident that they have the power to do that. They have the power to do that. So I'm bowing down to them and happy in our endeavour. Jai Srila Sri Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada ki Jai, Srila Bhakti Rakshida Deva Swami Maharaj ki Jai, Srila Bhakti Sundar Govinda Deva Swami Maharaj ki Jai, and Srila Bhakti Nimala Acharya Maharaj ki Jai. Okay, how am I gonna do this? Yes. Hari Haraya Nama Krishna Yadavaya Namaha.
Haraya Nama Krishna Yadavaya Namaha.
Yadavaya Madhavaya Keshavaya Namaha.
Yadavaya Madhavaya Keshavaya Namaha. Bala Govindaram Shrimad Sundar. Adinath Buddha Mohan
Chaitanya Nityananda Shri Advaita Chandra
Chaitanya Nityananda Shri
Advaita Chandra Srivasa Jaya Rupa Sanatan Bhaktaravina Jaya Rupa Sanatan Bhaktaravina Jiva Gopalabhata Dasa Jiva Gopalabhata Dasa Jaya Sai Kori Charanavanda Jaya Sai Kori Charanavanda
Hare